Chili Peppers fans, buckle up, this is gonna be a good one. I'm Jordan at the Music Zoo, and I'm checking out for the first time the Fender Custom Shop John Frusciante 62 Strat Masterbuilt by Paul Waller. This is the first ever Frusciante signature guitar, my favorite guitar player of all time. Let's go. Before we dig into this actual guitar, let's talk a little bit about the original 62 Strat that this guitar is based off of. John, as we all know, played in the Chili Peppers in the early 90s. I believe he recorded Blood Sugar with a couple different Strats, but not this particular guitar. When he rejoined the band in the late 90s, 97, 98, he only had his red Jaguar left and needed a Strat to get the job done in the Chili Peppers. So the story goes, him and Anthony Kiedis went to Guitar Center, probably GC Hollywood, and picked up a 62 Strat off the wall. So for the next 20 years about, from 1999 until 2006, John Frusciante played a 62 Strat on stage around the world. And what I think is really cool about this guitar that it's been based off of is that you could see in pictures between the years, the wear patterns start to accumulate, the burst starting to fade, this little pick wear pattern above the neck pickup, really just getting worn down over time. Obviously, he had other guitars in his arsenal. We had the 55 Strat with the maple board, the White Falcon that he got from Vincent Gallo, a whole bunch of guitars, but the 62 was always the number one. Couple years after Stadium Arcadium dropped, John once again left the band, and then we didn't really see the 62 Strat over that course of time because he was making mostly electronic music, really didn't play guitar-based music until he rejoined the Peppers in 2019, and then we finally saw the iconic 62 Strat reemerge in the Black Summer video in 2022, I believe. It was so cool, I was so excited because the first thing you see of John in that video is the shot of the Strat panning up to him. Everyone who loves the Chili Peppers is just freaking out to see this guitar and him on screen again. Famously, over the course of his career, John has never really done a signature guitar with Fender before, but I believe it was 2024 that we finally got the email here that Fender was doing a run with Masterbuilder Paul Waller, most famous for doing a lot of other rock star guitars. We have, Paul has done the George Harrison Rocky, the George Harrison Rosewood Telly, the Joe Strummer Telly. What else do we have? A bunch of other guitars that he's done. So obviously he was the guy for the job to look over John's original guitar and recreate this thing that we have here. And now let's go over this guitar specs. All right, so on this guitar, obviously we're gonna have an alder body, really worn down sunburst finish. It's replicated to the original. So if you look at the guitar in the 90s and 2000s, there was a lot more red, but obviously Paul didn't see that guitar. He saw it as it was in 2024. So there's a lot of yellow, kind of looks like a late 50s Strat, honestly. This is probably the most signature wear pattern right here above the neck pickup. Really nice oval C neck profile. A little bit of wear to the back of the headstock. Really nice rounded, comfortable fretboard edges. 7¼ inch radius, narrow, tall frets. The pickups, let's talk about that real quick. So it said that in the original Strat, there might be some Seaborn Unken, like off-the-rack SSL 6s in there because the original pickups might have demagnetized over time. John was on the road, just needed some pickups to put in there, and he liked it. But in this guitar, we're getting some Josefina Campos hand-wound pickups. I think it adds to the vintage tone of the guitar. It's probably based off of whatever is in the original guitar. So that's what they went with, and I think they sound great. Also, the back plate, underneath it, you have the Illich silent single coil system, which is kind of keeping the hum down. I'm sure that was a thing that John's tech added over time, playing gigantic friggin' stadiums, arenas around the world. You never know what kind of electricity you're gonna get. So obviously the single coils, the big muffs, the DS2s and all that kind of fun stuff helps to keep that noise floor down. Fortunately for the Music Zoo, and unfortunately for me, this one is sold. Going to a lucky customer. I tried to see if we could get another. It doesn't look like it, but man, I love this thing. This is my favorite guitar of all time. Super iconic. I'm hoping that this kind of goes the way of the Mike McCready Strat, where they did the Fender Custom Shop Masterbuilt version, and maybe a production made in Mexico guitar is coming down the line. Fingers crossed that happens, because then I'll certainly get my hands on one. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. I'm super stoked that John finally teamed up with Fender to make this guitar. If you want to get your hands on a John Frusciante Strat, call us or email us, because there is a wait list, and you never know what's going to happen. Maybe one comes down the line or comes in on the secondary market, or we could just order you a heavily relic Sunburst Strat. Shh. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.